Welcome to At Fact Motifs, where we embark on a fascinating journey to explore the diverse cultures and intriguing customs that shape societies around the world. Today, we embark on a captivating exploration of different cultures and practices that span across the globe, from the United States to Greece, from Russia to Bolivia, and numerous other countries in between. We will dive into the rich tapestry of customs and traditions that shape societies around the world. Through this journey, we will uncover the intricacies and nuances of each culture, shedding light on their unique customs, etiquette, and beliefs that make them truly special. Join us as we traverse the diverse landscapes of these countries, embracing the richness of their cultural heritage and broadening our understanding of the world we inhabit. So, let us embark on this enlightening voyage and embrace the beauty of global diversity. Nicaragua. Lip pointing in Nicaragua. In Nicaragua, a unique cultural gesture known as lip pointing is commonly used for indicating or emphasizing something in close proximity. Unlike the more common practice of using the thumb or index finger for pointing, Nicaraguans employ a distinct technique that involves puckering their lips and directing them towards the desired object or location. Lip pointing in Nicaragua is a nonverbal gesture that is deeply ingrained in the local culture. It starts with the individual creating a slight pucker or pursing of their lips. By moving their lips forward or from side to side, they can effectively draw attention to a nearby object or highlight something happening in close proximity. This particular gesture is typically employed when the distance between the speaker and the subject of discussion is relatively short. By using lip pointing, Nicaraguans can emphasize the significance or relevance of something happening nearby. It's important to note that lip pointing is a cultural practice specific to Nicaragua and may not be widely understood or recognized in other countries. As with any cultural gesture, it's essential to approach it with respect and understanding, acknowledging its significance within the local culture. By familiarizing oneself with unique gestures like lip pointing, individuals can enhance their cross-cultural communication and show appreciation for the diversity of cultural expressions found around the world. Russia. Choose your flowers for a Russian. Flowers hold significant meaning in Russian culture, and it's important to be mindful of the symbolism associated with different colors and types of flowers when giving them to Russian individuals, especially in certain contexts. In Russian culture, yellow flowers are often associated with negative connotations such as the end of a relationship, deception, or melancholy. Therefore, it is generally advisable to avoid giving large yellow bouquets, particularly in romantic or personal relationships, as they may be misunderstood as a sign of impending breakup or dishonesty. Red carnations are also not typically given as gifts in Russia since they are commonly associated with honoring veterans who survived war or are placed on the graves of those who have passed away. Therefore, it is best to choose a different type of flower when expressing your sentiments. It's worth noting that flowers are not solely chosen for their attractiveness in Russian culture, they also carry symbolic meanings. When gifting flowers to a Russian person, they may pay close attention to the color and type of flower you choose, as these choices can convey specific messages. In romantic relationships, the intensity of feelings can be symbolized through the choice of vibrant, red flowers, particularly roses. It is customary to start with white flowers when the relationship is in its early stages, progressing to pink flowers, and eventually red roses as the feelings between the individuals deepen. It's important to remember that these flower traditions and symbolism may vary among individuals, and personal preferences can also play a role. When in doubt, it's always a good idea to ask the recipient or seek advice from local sources to ensure that your choice of flowers aligns with cultural norms and the recipient's preferences. Understanding and respecting these cultural nuances surrounding flower gifting in Russia can enhance your interpersonal relationships and demonstrate your thoughtfulness and sensitivity towards Russian customs. France. In France, people are kissing. In France, the act of kissing is an integral part of greeting customs and social interactions. The French have developed a unique set of traditions and etiquette surrounding kissing, which varies based on factors such as gender, region, and the level of familiarity between individuals. In French greeting customs, there is a distinction between the number of kisses exchanged between men and women. Typically, when greeting someone of the opposite sex, it is customary to exchange kisses on both cheeks. This is often accompanied by a light touch of the cheeks or a slight brushing of the air. However, it's important to note that this practice can vary depending on the context and the relationship between the individuals individuals involved. The number of kisses required to complete a greeting can differ from one region to another in France. In some regions, 2 kisses are the norm, while in others, 3 or even 4 kisses may be expected. These variations reflect the diversity and regional customs within France itself. Moreover, it is customary in French culture to greet each person individually upon arrival at a party or gathering, regardless of whether one knows them or not. This practice demonstrates politeness, inclusiveness, and a respect for social interactions. While the concept of kissing as a greeting may differ from other cultures, it is important to understand that it is a well-established and accepted social norm in France. It is seen as a way to express warmth, familiarity, and respect. The practice of kissing in France goes beyond mere physical contact. It is a form of communication and connection between individuals. It is worth mentioning that these customs may vary among individuals and contexts. In more formal settings or professional environments, handshakes may be more common. It is always advisable to follow the lead of the locals and be respectful of their customs when greeting people in France or any other country. The French tradition of kissing as a greeting is a cultural expression that adds charm, warmth, and a touch of elegance to social interactions in the country. It is an aspect of French culture that continues to captivate visitors and serves as a reminder of the cultural diversity and richness found throughout France. Greece. Spitting on the bride at Greek weddings. In Greek culture, there is a traditional custom associated with weddings that involves spitting. While the practice may seem unusual to those unfamiliar with Greek traditions, it holds symbolic significance and is believed to bring good luck and ward off evil spirits. The depiction of this custom in the 2002 film My Big Fat Greek Wedding popularized its recognition among a broader audience. However, it's important to note that the film may have exaggerated the practice for comedic effect. In Greek weddings today, the act of spitting on the bride has evolved into a more symbolic gesture. Instead of guests actually spitting on the bride, they forcefully say F2 F2 F2. This phrase is pronounced with a spitting sound and is believed to mimic the act of spitting without the actual physical action. The intention behind this symbolic spitting is to protect the bride from any potential harm or negative energy. It is a superstitious belief that spitting wards off the devil or any evil forces that may be present during the wedding ceremony. By uttering F2 F2 F2, the guests are expressing their well wishes, wishing the bride good luck, and safeguarding her against any misfortune. It's worth noting that spitting is not limited to Greek weddings alone. The same symbolic act can be observed at other significant occasions in Greek culture, such as baptisms. In the case of a baptism, spitting is seen as a way to recognize the baby's beauty and health while also warding off any potential evil. In everyday conversation, spitting may also be used superstitiously to fend off evil or negative consequences. If someone mentions something unfortunate or potentially harmful, a person might say F2 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 as a way to counteract any ill effects or bad luck associated with the topic. While the act of spitting may appear unusual, or even off-putting to those from different cultural backgrounds, it's important to approach it with respect and understanding. Like many customs and traditions, it holds deep-rooted cultural significance and adds a unique element to Greek celebrations, reflecting the rich tapestry of Greek folklore and superstitions. United States. Groundhog Day in the United States. Groundhog Day in the United States is a unique and quirky tradition that has captured the imagination of people across the nation. While the United States is a relatively young country, it has embraced this annual celebration since 1887, making it a part of its cultural fabric. On February 2nd of each year, people gather in Punctuality, Pennsylvania, to witness the prediction of Punxsutawney Phil, the famous groundhog. According to folklore, if the groundhog emerges from its burrow and sees its shadow, it is believed that winter will persist for another 6 weeks. Conversely, if the groundhog doesn't see its shadow, it signifies an early arrival of spring. The Punxsutawney Groundhog Club's inner circle plays a central role in the festivities. Comprised of a group of dedicated men, this organization is responsible for caring for Punxsutawney Phil and organizing the Groundhog Day ceremony. Clad in black suits and top hats, the members of the inner circle lend an air of tradition and reverence to the event, adding to its distinctive charm. Groundhog Day has become more than just a weather prediction event. It has captured the public's imagination and has been immortalized in popular culture through the 1993 film Groundhog Day starring Bill Murray. The film's premise, where the protagonist relives the same day over and over again, has become synonymous with the concept of a repetitive or mundane experience. Beyond the festivities in Punxsutawney, Groundhog Day is celebrated in various forms across the United States. Many towns and cities have their own local groundhogs that make predictions on this day, each with its own unique character and folklore. The celebration of Groundhog Day highlights the diverse tapestry of festivals and traditions that exist in the United States. It showcases the country's ability to embrace whimsy, folklore, and community spirit, even in the face of a relatively short history. Groundhog Day has become a beloved tradition that brings people together, offers a moment of lightheartedness and adds a touch of magic to the winter season. Mexico, Dia de los Muertos, celebrating life and death. In Mexico, the Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos, is a unique and fascinating celebration that honors and remembers deceased loved ones, held on November 1st and 2nd. This vibrant festival is a fusion of indigenous beliefs and Catholic traditions, creating a colorful and festive atmosphere. During Dia de los Muertos, families gather to create elaborate altars, known as ofrendas, in their homes or at the gravesites of their ancestors. These altars are adorned with marigolds, candles, sugar skulls, and the favorite foods and beverages of the departed. It is believed that during this time, the souls of the departed return to earth to reunite with their loved ones, and the ofrendas serve as a welcoming gesture. The streets come alive with processions, parades, and performances during Dia de los Muertos. People dress up in vibrant costumes and intricately painted skull masks, known as calacas, symbolizing the cycle of life and death. The atmosphere is filled with music, laughter, and a sense of joyful celebration, as families remember and honor their ancestors. One of the iconic traditions of Dia de los Muertos is the sugar skull. These beautifully decorated edible skulls, made from sugar or chocolate, are intricately designed with colorful icing and represent a specific departed loved one. They are often placed on the ofrendas or given as gifts to family and friends. Another integral part of the celebration is the pan de muerto, or bread of the dead. This sweet and rich bread, adorned with bone-shaped decorations, is baked and shared among family members. It is believed to nourish the souls of the departed during their visit to the living world. Dia de los Muertos is a time of remembrance, celebration, and reflection. It showcases the Mexican belief in the interconnectedness of life and death, and the importance of honoring and cherishing the memories of those who have passed. It is a beautiful and vibrant cultural celebration that has captivated people from around the world with its rich symbolism and deep spiritual meaning. Finland, a sauna experience in Finland. In Finland, the sauna holds a special place in the culture and is deeply ingrained in the daily lives of the Finnish people. It is not uncommon for business clients or counterparts to invite you to the sauna after a successful meeting or as a way of building rapport and socializing. When you receive an invitation to a Finnish sauna, it is an indication of hospitality and a positive outcome of your business meeting. Embracing this experience can help strengthen your professional relationships and create a deeper connection with your Finnish counterparts. It's important to approach the sauna experience with an open mind and respect for Finnish customs. Here are some key points to keep in mind. Nudity. In traditional Finnish saunas, it is customary to be fully nude. However, if you feel uncomfortable with this, it is acceptable to wear a towel or bathing suit. Communicate your preferences in advance to ensure everyone is comfortable. Respect sauna etiquette. Follow the lead of your Finnish hosts in terms of sauna rituals and procedures. Typically, the sauna experience involves alternating between the hot sauna room and cool-down periods, often by jumping into a nearby lake or taking a cold shower. Relax and engage in conversation. The sauna provides an informal setting for conversation and socialization. Use this opportunity to build connections and engage in meaningful discussions with your Finnish counterparts. Respect personal space. While the sauna is a social activity, it's important to respect personal boundaries. Maintain a respectful distance and avoid intrusive or overly personal questions. By embracing the Finnish sauna experience, you demonstrate cultural appreciation and a willingness to participate in local customs. This can help foster stronger business relationships and leave a positive impression on your Finnish counterparts. United States. Tipping culture in the United States. Expectations and practices. The United States is known for its unique and sometimes perplexing tipping culture. Unlike in many other countries where tipping is discretionary, tipping is generally expected in most restaurants throughout the United States. Here are some insights into the complexities of the American tipping culture. Standard gratuity. When dining out in the United States, it is customary to leave a tip ranging between 10% and 20% of the total bill. This gratuity is considered a significant part of a server's income, as their base wages are often minimal. Tipping serves as a means of supplementing their earnings and recognizing the quality of service provided. Expanded tipping guidelines. Tipping extends beyond just restaurant servers. In the United States, there are customary guidelines for tipping other service workers as well. This includes bartenders, delivery personnel, taxi drivers, hotel staff, and more. Each category may have its own customary tipping rate, which is often a percentage of the total bill or a set amount. Incentivizing service. While some may find the concept of mandatory tipping to be debatable, it is undeniable that the tipping culture in the United States creates an incentive for waiters and waitresses to provide excellent service. The potential for higher gratuities encourages them to be attentive, accommodating, and strive for customer satisfaction. Ongoing discussion. The topic of tipping in the United States remains a subject of debate. Some argue that it places an undue burden on customers and should be replaced with higher base wages for service workers. Others believe it promotes a direct connection between quality service and compensation. Understanding and adhering to the American tipping culture is an essential aspect of dining out or utilizing various services in the United States. While it may differ from tipping practices in other countries, embracing the local customs helps maintain a positive and respectful interaction with service providers. South Korea. In South Korea, avoid using red ink to write the names of your friends. In South Korea, there is a cultural belief and superstition surrounding the use of red ink when writing names, particularly the names of friends or acquaintances. Red ink is traditionally associated with death and is considered inauspicious or unlucky. To respect South Korean cultural customs, it is advisable to avoid using red ink when writing the names of your friends. Instead, opt for other ink colors such as black, blue, or any other color that is not associated with negative connotations. By being mindful of this cultural belief and refraining from using red ink, you demonstrate respect for South Korean traditions and show consideration for the beliefs and sensitivities of the people you interact with. It is important to note that this custom may not be universally followed by every individual in South Korea, as personal beliefs and practices can vary. However, by adhering to this cultural norm, you display cultural sensitivity and contribute to positive cross-cultural interactions. Denmark. Danish cemeteries, social spaces and cultural norms. Denmark's approach to cemeteries differs from the common perception of somber and eerie spaces. Danish cemeteries have embraced a unique cultural practice where they are transformed into socializing spaces. Rather than being solely places of mourning, they become vibrant community areas. Here are some insights into this Danish cultural phenomenon. Cemetery socializing. In Denmark, it is not uncommon for people to spend leisure time in cemeteries, especially during the warmer months. Danish cemeteries are well maintained and provide peaceful and picturesque surroundings for locals to enjoy. Rather than being viewed as solely places of remembrance, they are seen as serene parks where people can relax, walk, and spend time with friends and family. Assistens Kierkegaard. A notable example is Assistens Kierkegaard in Copenhagen, the capital city of Denmark. This cemetery is renowned for its unique atmosphere and serves as both a final resting place for famous Danes and a recreational area for visitors. Prominent figures like Hans Christian Andersen, the renowned author, find their eternal rest here. Sense of community. The Danish cemetery culture reflects the country's emphasis on community and connection. By transforming cemeteries into social spaces, Danes create an atmosphere where people can come together, enjoy nature, and honor the memory of those who have passed away in a more vibrant and inclusive manner. This cultural practice showcases Denmark's distinctive approach to death and remembrance. By utilizing cemeteries as inviting public spaces, the Danish people celebrate life and honor their loved ones in a setting that promotes both contemplation and community engagement. Malaysia. Thumb pointing in Malaysia, a gesture of courtesy. Cultural norms surrounding gestures and body language can vary greatly from one country to another. In Malaysia, the act of pointing with the index finger is considered impolite and even aggressive. Instead, Malaysians employ a unique gesture using their thumbs. Here's a glimpse into this cultural practice. Courtesy and communication. Malaysians believe that pointing directly at someone with the index finger can be disrespectful and confrontational. To maintain politeness and avoid offense, they have adopted the practice of using their thumbs to point. This gesture is seen as a more courteous way to indicate something or draw attention to an object or direction. Respect for others. By employing the thumb gesture, Malaysians demonstrate their respect for personal boundaries and strive to maintain harmonious interactions. This cultural practice reflects the value placed on maintaining positive relationships and avoiding confrontations in daily communication. Similar practices in other cultures. It's interesting to note that this thumb-pointing practice is not unique to Malaysia. In neighboring Indonesia and some African countries, similar customs are observed, where pointing with the thumb or an open hand is considered more polite and less confrontational than using the index finger. Understanding and respecting these cultural nuances is crucial when interacting with Malaysians. By adopting the local custom of thumb pointing, visitors can demonstrate their cultural sensitivity and appreciation for Malaysian etiquette. Turkey. Try not to go Dutch in Turkey. In Turkey, the cultural expectation regarding splitting the meal bill differs from some other cultures where it is common to go Dutch and split the bill evenly. In Turkey, it is generally not considered acceptable to split the bill, especially if you are the guest or if the meal is being hosted in your honor. As a guest in Turkey, it is customary to offer to pay for half of the meal as a gesture of courtesy. However, your Turkish host may feel uncomfortable or even irritated if you insist on splitting the bill. They may perceive it as a breach of hospitality or an indication that you didn't fully appreciate their generosity in hosting you. Instead of insisting on splitting the bill, a more appropriate gesture in Turkish culture would be to reciprocate the hospitality by inviting your host to a follow-up meal. By doing so, you have the opportunity to express your gratitude and show your willingness to reciprocate their kindness by covering the cost of the next meal. This practice aligns with the Turkish value of hospitality and ensures that a sense of mutual respect and reciprocity is maintained within the cultural context. By being mindful of these cultural expectations and norms, you can navigate social interactions in Turkey with sensitivity and respect, fostering positive relationships and demonstrating your appreciation for Turkish hospitality. Japan. Gifting tradition in Japan. In Japan, there is a long-standing tradition called osibo, which involves the giving of gifts to express gratitude and strengthen relationships. Osibo is typically practiced during the year-end holiday season. It is customary for people to offer gifts to their colleagues, friends, family members, and even business associates as a gesture of appreciation. The gifts exchanged during osibo often include items such as food, beverages, household goods, or other thoughtful presents. It is important to choose gifts that reflect the recipient's preferences and interests. The act of giving and receiving osibo gifts is seen as an expression of goodwill and an opportunity to show gratitude for the support and kindness received throughout the year. Osibo is deeply rooted in Japanese culture, emphasizing the importance of maintaining harmonious relationships and fostering a sense of community. It serves as a way to acknowledge the social connections and to reciprocate the kindness and support received from others. This unique tradition showcases the significance of gift giving as a means of expressing gratitude and strengthening interpersonal bonds in Japanese society. Most societies across the world have table etiquette norms. In Western societies, eating loudly is considered impolite. Making slurping sounds when eating, on the other hand, has a whole different meaning in Japan. This could be because in Western countries, noodles are appropriately ingested by spinning them on a spoon before putting them in the mouth. Meanwhile, the Japanese simply slurp their noodles without first contorting them, an inherently noisier process than the former. Making slurping sounds when eating noodles in Japan indicates that you are thoroughly enjoying them. Some scientists even suggest that slurping allows air into the palate, which improves the flavor of the noodles. Bolivia. Choose the appropriate occasion for business discussions in Bolivia. In Bolivia, it is important to choose the appropriate occasion for business discussions and respect the cultural norms surrounding social events. While you may be in Bolivia for business purposes and have limited time, it is generally considered impolite to discuss business matters during a dinner party or other social gatherings. Bolivians view dinners as an opportunity to strengthen personal bonds and foster relationships. Therefore, it is best to avoid bringing up business topics unless your Bolivian host initiates the conversation. Instead, focus on enjoying the meal and engaging in discussions that help build a personal connection and understanding. If you are invited to a business lunch or dinner, it is still advisable to let your Bolivian host lead the conversation regarding business matters. By following their lead, you show respect for their cultural practices and demonstrate an interest in building a relationship beyond just business transactions. During these social events, it is often appreciated to discuss topics related to family. Bolivians value strong familial ties, and engaging in conversations about family can help foster a deeper connection with your Bolivian host. By being mindful of the appropriate occasions for business discussions and respecting the cultural emphasis on personal relationships, you can navigate business interactions in Bolivia with cultural sensitivity. Embracing these customs and building strong personal connections can contribute to successful business relationships in the Bolivian context. China. Cultural considerations for gift giving. While China has opened its doors to the West, Chinese cultural traditions will never be forgotten. Because they are one of the world's oldest civilizations, you must understand that their cultural traditions have been formed over millennia and passed down from generation to generation. The bulk of Chinese people are superstitious and attach meaning to numerous things. When giving gifts to Chinese colleagues or friends, it is essential to be mindful of cultural traditions and beliefs. Chinese culture has a rich history that spans thousands of years, and certain customs and superstitions are deeply ingrained in society. Understanding these cultural nuances can help you navigate the gift-giving process respectfully. Here are some considerations to keep in mind. Flowers. Avoid giving white flowers as they are associated with death and ghosts in Chinese culture. Unlike in Western cultures where white flowers symbolize purity, innocence, and peace, they may carry negative connotations in China. Additionally, flowers with prickly stalks should be avoided. Clock. In Chinese culture, the word for clock sounds similar to the word for send clock, which is associated with attending funerals or death rites. Giving a clock as a gift can be seen as a reminder of mortality and the limited time left in a relationship or life. Handkerchief. In Chinese culture, the word for handkerchief sounds similar to a farewell greeting. Thus, giving a handkerchief as a gift may unintentionally convey a farewell message, which could be considered inappropriate. Umbrella. Presenting an umbrella to a Chinese friend or colleague can imply that the relationship is coming to an end. While it is acceptable to share an umbrella, be sure to return it promptly to avoid any misinterpretation. Gifts in 4-packs. The number 4 is associated with death in Chinese culture, so gifts that come in sets of 4 should be avoided. Opt for gifts in other quantities to show respect and avoid any negative connotations. Straw shoes. Offering shoes made of straw can be perceived as a desire to part ways or sever the relationship. It is best to choose a different type of footwear as a gift. Green hat. While green is generally considered a lucky color in Chinese culture, giving someone a green hat implies that their partner is unfaithful. It is advisable to avoid giving green hats to prevent misunderstandings. Hungary. In Hungary, say cheers but don't clink glasses. In Hungary, there is a cultural tradition surrounding the act of clinking glasses while saying cheers during a toast. Unlike many other cultures where clinking glasses is a common practice, Hungarians have historically abstained from this tradition. The origin of this custom dates back to the Hungarian War with Austria in 1849, during which Hungarian forces suffered a significant defeat. As the defeated Hungarian soldiers observed Austrian generals celebrating their victory by clinking glasses and drinking beer, it caused bitterness and pain for the Hungarians. In remembrance of this event, Hungarians made a vow to abstain from clinking glasses as a symbol of respect for the fallen soldiers and their defeat. For approximately 150 years, Hungarians upheld this tradition and refrained from clinking glasses during toasts. It wasn't until 1999 that this vow officially expired. However, despite the expiration of the vow, many Hungarians still adhere to this cultural practice out of respect for their history and to honor the memory of those who sacrificed during the war. While it is not mandatory to follow this tradition in modern Hungary, it is still widely practiced by many Hungarians, particularly on more solemn or significant occasions. When participating in a toast with Hungarians, it is advisable to be mindful of this custom and to refrain from clinking glasses unless you are explicitly informed otherwise. By respecting and acknowledging this cultural tradition, you can demonstrate sensitivity towards Hungary's history and foster a deeper understanding and appreciation for the customs and values of the Hungarian people. Nigeria. Cultural greetings. Yoruba customs in Nigeria. In Nigeria, the Yoruba ethnic group holds unique customs and practices when it comes to greetings, particularly in interactions with elders. The Yoruba people place great importance on showing respect and deference to their community's elders through specific greeting gestures. Here are some insights into these cultural customs. Kneeling and prostration. When encountering an adult or an elder, Yoruba youths are expected to drop down on their knees as a sign of respect during greetings. This act of kneeling demonstrates humility and reverence towards the person being greeted. On the other hand, men often take it a step further by lying prostrate, face down on the ground, as a form of deep respect. Gender distinction. Traditionally, women in the Yoruba culture kneel during greetings, while men perform the act of prostration. These distinct gestures highlight the cultural values of gender roles and societal expectations. Differentiating ethnic groups. The practice of kneeling or prostration during greetings is particularly associated with the Yoruba ethnic group. Other ethnic groups in Nigeria, such as the Bini and the Kalabari, may have their own unique greeting customs that differ from the Yoruba traditions. These ceremonial gestures of kneeling and prostration exemplify the Yoruba people's deep respect for their elders and the importance of hierarchy within their community. By adhering to these customs, the Yoruba emphasize the significance of intergenerational relationships and demonstrate their commitment to upholding cultural values. It's important to note that while these customs are prevalent among the Yoruba people, Nigeria is a diverse country with multiple ethnic groups, each with its distinct traditions and customs. Understanding and respecting these cultural nuances foster meaningful interactions and appreciation for the rich diversity found within Nigerian society. Egypt. When dining in Egypt, avoid asking for salt. In Egypt, there is a cultural norm surrounding the use of salt while dining, and it is generally advisable to avoid asking for salt when eating with friends or coworkers. This is because Egyptians may interpret the request for salt as a sign of dissatisfaction or a lack of appreciation for the flavors of the dish that has been prepared for you. Egyptian cuisine is known for its rich and diverse flavors, and the host takes pride in the dishes they offer to guests. Therefore, asking for salt can be seen as an implication that the food is not seasoned or flavored adequately, which may be considered offensive. When dining in Egypt, it is generally best to enjoy the meal as it is served and refrain from requesting additional salt. Showing appreciation for the host's culinary skills and cultural traditions by savoring the flavors of the meal is a way to demonstrate respect and gratitude. Norway. In Norway, Be mindful of your table manners. In Norway, table manners hold significance, and it is customary to adhere to certain etiquette when it comes to dining. Utilizing utensils, such as a spoon and fork or a knife and fork, is generally expected during meals, even for items that may be commonly eaten with hands in other cultures. Norwegians typically use utensils for various types of food, including sandwiches. Eating a sandwich with a fork and knife is considered polite and shows respect for the dining experience and the food being consumed. When visiting Norway or dining with Norwegians, it is beneficial to familiarize yourself with proper knife and fork skills. This includes using the knife to cut food and the fork to guide the food onto the utensil. It's also customary to hold the knife in your right hand and the fork in your left hand while eating. By demonstrating good table manners and adhering to Norwegian dining etiquette, you can show respect for the local culture and enhance your dining experience. Embracing these customs allows for a smoother integration into the Norwegian social context and promotes positive cross-cultural interactions. Right hand usage. Cultural considerations. Right hand usage. In many cultures, the right hand is considered clean and respectful, while the left hand holds certain negative associations. Understanding and respecting these cultural norms can help you navigate social interactions and avoid unintentionally causing offense. Here are some regions where the use of the left hand is discouraged and using the right hand is preferred. Middle East. Throughout many Middle Eastern countries, including Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Jordan, the left hand is traditionally associated with tasks considered unclean, such as personal hygiene. Therefore, it is customary to use the right hand for greeting others, handling objects, exchanging money, and eating. Sri Lanka and India. In Sri Lankan and Indian cultures, the left hand is traditionally associated with cleansing after using the toilet. Using the left hand for eating or handling food is considered unhygienic and impolite. To show respect, it is important to use the right hand when engaging in social interactions, eating, and giving or receiving items. Parts of Africa. Similar to other regions, several African cultures also hold the belief that the left hand is unclean. Countries such as Nigeria, Ghana, and Kenya observe the practice of using the right hand for eating and other activities. It is advisable to adopt the right hand usage when interacting with individuals from these regions. To maintain cultural sensitivity and minimize potential offense, use your right hand when greeting people, handling goods, exchanging money, and eating, especially when visiting nations or regions where the left hand has negative connotations. Respecting local customs demonstrates your awareness and appreciation of cultural differences, fostering positive interactions with individuals from diverse backgrounds. It's all about being punctual. Cultural norms regarding punctuality indeed vary across different countries, and it's interesting to observe the different expectations and attitudes towards timeliness in various cultures. In Venezuela, it is customary for dinner invitations to have a certain degree of flexibility, with guests often arriving 10 to 15 minutes later than the stated time. This practice is widely accepted and does not typically imply disrespect or lack of consideration. On the other hand, countries like the United States, Germany, South Korea, and Japan place a strong emphasis on punctuality. Being on time is highly valued, and arriving even a few minutes late can be seen as disrespectful or a sign of poor time management. In Malaysia, there is a more relaxed attitude towards punctuality, with a general understanding that being a few minutes late is acceptable and does not require an apology. This cultural perspective acknowledges that delays or unforeseen circumstances can occur. In Morocco, the concept of meeting at a specific time is less rigid, and being late for an hour or even an entire day can be considered acceptable. Flexibility and adaptability to changes in plans are valued over strict adherence to time. In China, being up to 10 minutes late may be excused, as there is a certain degree of tolerance for slight delays. Meanwhile, in countries like Mexico and Greece, a delay of around 30 minutes may still be considered within an acceptable range.